Yes. So, first of all, I want to express my gratitude. The reason I ran for office is because I felt like there needed to be changes in our accountability system as a teacher. One thing that's kind of interesting when you read a bill is sometimes you look at the language that isn't changing, something already in statute. And on page 11, line 11, it says that we're supposed to provide diagnostic information that identifies strengths and deficiencies of students to improve instruction. And quite honestly, and this is just a comment, I don't find anything diagnostic in the results I see from my students' KSA. So I'll just make that notation. My question is regarding page 25 about the percentile cut scores, and it states that they shall be based on a distribution. So the cut scores are based on a distribution. It doesn't say grade level. It doesn't say students can or cannot read. So thinking about that distribution and how standardized tests are created, if all of our students were above average, would we still have students in the novice or apprentice category? Because if it's a distribution, you're going to make that distribution no matter where the kids score. So I've really dug deep into how these tests are created, and I think we often conflate grade level or inability to read. It's said in this body multiple times, this percentage score are proficient. Well, what does that really mean? Does it mean grade level? No. It means that based upon the psychometric development of the assessment and these cut scores, these children are lower than these children, but it doesn't quantify a specific aptitude. If you could just comment. And this is probably for Commissioner Fletcher.
I'd be happy to do so. I believe also within that, and I was looking for the language, I think that it's also in there that these cut scores would be set and remain the same for 6 years.
Correct.
So with that in mind, I think it's very important for us to have a target. Now, I was a part, as a superintendent, a part of that standard setting committee, whereas we looked at distribution, and you're correct, there was a certain percentage, just like CSI.
Right.
No matter what, there's 5% of our districts or of our schools are going to be CSI. That's a federal guideline. So I think it's very important that once we looked at that distribution, we also take into account what do our NAEP scores look like? What do our other national norm type tests look like? To say, okay, are we aligned with those? Again, they're not the same test, but we want to make sure that we're aligned with those other areas too. So once those percentiles are set, and I think in the bill it also has the LSAC would also have to approve those, then leaving that for 6 years. And then pulling back the committee again to say, okay, do we need to reassess or do we keep the same cut scores? As a former principal, I was so frustrated when that bar was moved. Right. And I'd like to know what our target is, and that way we can help students get there. But you are correct. It is based on distribution, but it also goes to that standard setting committee to select that percentages as they move forward. And we do pull in teachers, administrators, and people throughout the Commonwealth.
Just a brief comment. So I was also able to sit in on at least one of the United We Learn Council meetings, and I truly hope that this body will consider adaptive assessments and multiple interim assessments in the future. Thank you.